Over the years, we've seen a lot of different guns come in various forms throughout the Halo franchise. And while a lot of the guns have been very welcomed additions to the Halo franchise, some of them just aren't that good. So today we wanted to take a look at the worst guns of all time from Halo. This is probably going to be one of those topics that's very divisive amongst the community. Just remember, this is my and Luke's opinion, and y'all are entitled to your own opinion. Your own opinion's probably wrong, but nonetheless, it's an opinionated video. Let's just have a good time and talk about some Halo guns. But first, have you ever wondered what would happen if the Master Chief and Cortana had a son named Cortano117, and he needed to expand his own personal brand by selling edgy merchandise that represented his feelings? How would he be able to make a platform that could easily showcase all that he has to offer? Well, we're pretty sure he would use Squarespace, who actually sponsored this video. From being able to build and manage your own website to having a ton of different customization tools, it really helps to use Squarespace because it can make your website really feel like your own and serve as a great platform to build and run your business. More about that at the end of the video. Okay, let's just start by pulling the band-aid off right away. This one hurts me already to talk about, but let's look at Halo 3 just a little bit. Now, Halo 3 has really grown to become one of my favorite Halo games. It has such a fun campaign, a great sandbox. There's really a lot to love about this game, but some of the guns are probably not as good as iterations of guns that there had been in the Halo franchise prior to Halo 3's release. Like, one of the first ones that came to mind when planning out this video was the Halo 3 shotgun. Now, the Halo 3 shotgun still works. It plays better than other games' shotguns out there, but when you look at Halo 3 and where it was when this game released, and you look at the iterations of the shotguns before it, the Halo 2 shotgun that just had so much ammo, and the godly Halo 1 shotgun, the Halo 3 shotgun definitely felt like a downgrade in one way or another. Not saying that this gun wasn't something that was a beast in multiplayer when you could grab it and fight against other people with it, but I also don't see anyone saying that the Halo 3 shotgun is the best definitive shotgun in all of Halo. A similar thing could be said about the Halo 3 Magnum. Sure, it was a slight return to form to something a little more similar to what we had in Halo 1, that godly pistol that everyone just loved to use. However, very clearly, the Halo 3 Magnum is not the Halo 1 pistol. Now, I do have to say, when we were recording footage for this video and we played around with the Halo 3 Magnum a bit, we did have fun. You definitely can kill people with it, and you can use it to a good extent if you somewhat know what you're doing, but in the grand scheme of Halo pistols and sidearms, this one ranks pretty low. But then you can play Halo 2, and that's a different story altogether. I don't know, the Halo 2 Magnum, I really liked it theoretically. I liked how fast you can shoot it. I liked it had a bigger magazine size. However, with the Halo 2 pistol, and I swear people are gonna get mad at me because I'm using Magnum and pistol interchangeably here. I know there's some sort of definition, I don't know. This gun is just really not that usable in multiplayer at all. And we tested this in both Halo 2A and Halo 2, and this gun, honestly, you have to pretty much more or less land every single one of your shots in the clip if you're going to be able to kill someone. And there's a lot of bullets in each clip, and it just honestly becomes one of those guns that you just hope to avoid, or maybe you can dual wield if you can up your firepower a little bit. But I don't see anyone being like, yes, I got the Halo 2 pistol up in here. Now, fortunately enough, we did get a little refinement inspired by the faster fire rate from the Halo 2 pistol in Halo 3 ODST, which is one of my favorite pistols. But yeah, if you're relying on the Halo 2 pistol for any means, you're probably going to be disappointed. Speaking of Halo 2 disappointment, the Needler was such a big step back when Halo 2 came out. Now, in Halo 2 Anniversary was the first one we kind of tested when we were going through the guns for this video, and Halo 2 Anniversary, yeah, it's pretty bad. But then when you pivot and you play Halo 2, it's even more apparent how bad it really was back in the day. This gun just honestly sprays too widely, and it doesn't give you the super combine explosion nearly as quickly as in other Halo games. I remember the Needler 1 being so much fun to use in Halo CE, but in Halo 2, even if you're dual wielding the gun, you really can't be as effective as any other Halo game. And it really makes sense why maybe when Halo 3 rolled around, they overdid it and made the Needler in Halo 3 so powerful. It's probably because the Halo 2 Needler left left a lot to be desired for. Speaking of Halo 1 guns that were superior than later versions of it, the Halo CE flamethrower. Now this gun was so much fun to use, especially because it was exclusive to the PC back in the day, and it's really cool that it's in MCC nowadays, so you can mess around with it. But while it doesn't have a lot of ammo, it's definitely just kind of one of those guns that's fun to goof around with and just burn things to the ground. And we did finally see the flamethrower make a much awaited return when Halo 3 rolled around, but it's really not all that good. I mean, sure, there's some parts in campaign that can be useful, and in multiplayer you can kill people with it, but by switching it to treat the gun more like a turret rather than an actual weapon where you have to be in third person and you walk so much slower, just becomes one of those weapons that is no one's go-to. And it wasn't this fun gun to use as more of a strategic gun to use, or maybe a more niche gun to use. It really was one of those guns that needed to be specific to the moment rather than something you're just like, hey look, a flamethrower, let's try this out. Okay, we haven't talked about Halo Reach too much in this video, and while Halo Reach has some criticisms that are fair from the Halo community across the board, people who didn't like the level design, people who didn't like the armor abilities, heck, there's people who just didn't like the art style of Halo Reach. For the most part, we were pretty satisfied with how most of the guns in Halo Reach played. It didn't feel like anything was drastically bad or unusable, and it kind of feels like Halo Reach had one of the most refined weapon pools. Whether you have issues with the balancing or the game mechanics like Bloom, that's one fair point, but for the most part, the way the guns are balanced amongst each other, it is really interesting to see nonetheless. Now, of course, there is the focus rifle, and honestly, theoretically, I just didn't like the focus rifle already, just because I feel like every time I picked up the focus rifle in any game type, it was pretty unlikely I was actually going to be able to do some work with that gun. By the time your single shot expires, it's unlikely you probably killed someone unless you just made it focus on the head the whole time. And the fact that this was the gun that replaced the beam rifle from Halo 2 and Halo 3, and also the Sentinel gun, I think people can at least agree that this gun was a downgrade from what we had in the past. Now, in the campaign, it was really cool being shot at by those, like it's kind of this startling moment, but outside of that, it really isn't that useful of a gun. Now, there's also a couple other Halo Reach guns that we had some gripes with that we were unsure if they really were considered the worst guns of all time, so we're just gonna do a quick mention of them here. But the Plasma Repeater, not really a fan of how the overcharging thing works. I always feel like I'm out of ammo, and then when I do recharge it, I'm not good with this gun. And we've seen a lot of criticism in the Halo community about the concussion rifle, though I'm actually a fan of this gun. I feel like it's not too overpowered, and it's like a more balanced version of the fuel rod gun, though you can kind of do some fun things in custom games with it as well, so not really that bad of a gun. Luke did want me to include the Halo Reach assault rifle. He really doesn't like this gun, and I think that's fair. I mean, it's the standard starting weapon in a lot of game modes, and typically your rush is to get rid of the assault rifle and try to pick up literally anything else, so that's a fair assessment. I don't think anyone's saying the Halo Reach assault rifle is the best and definitive version of the assault rifle across any Halo game. Similarly, this one upsets me the most, but the grav hammer in Halo 4 is literally my least favorite variation of the gravity hammer of all time. Now, more or less, it does feel a lot like the Halo Reach gravity hammer, but it's just the sound that it makes. It just doesn't feel like a gravity hammer. I don't know, it feels like some battery pack Duracell charged gravity hammer or something. I'm just really not a fan of the Halo 4 gravity hammer. Also, the Halo 4 suppressor, I think so many people who have played through Halo 4's campaign can probably relate to this, but if you want a gun that literally is just not gonna help you in any way, but it's just the gun you end up being stuck with because you can't find ammo anywhere else, you're probably dealing with a suppressor. And while in theory this gun should work better, it really just doesn't do much in Halo 4 in either the campaign or the multiplayer. They did fix it up a little bit in Halo 5, which was reassuring, and we were happy that the gun became somewhat viable again. However, Halo 4's suppressor is just literally the worst thing. Now, this one we were actually not even going to include in this video, but as I was falling asleep last night after getting footage, I thought to myself, you know what, we need to put this one in the video after all. So it's gonna be in this video. But the Halo 4 bolt shot. Now, you can use the Halo 4 bolt shot, and you can actually get some good work done with it. But that gun has to be something that you know how to use, and it's one of those things where it's only if you know know how to use it right, it's fun to use, and it has to also be fitting to the setting that you're in. I don't think there's too many situations where I'm playing Halo 4 and I'm like, yes, I want to use the bolt shot right now. Usually it comes down to I'm playing Halo 4 and I have maybe like paper clip and a string in my pocket and a bolt shot, and I'm thinking, well, maybe if the paper clip breaks, then I'll resort to using the bolt shot. It's just one of those guns that it's not fun to use. It's not one of those guns where you have a strategy as soon as you pick up the gun like the plasma pistol would. This is just something that you're kind of forced to use, and it makes it not as fun as a gun overall. Also, while we're kind of talking about Halo 4, the Storm Rifle was another gun that honestly I'm not too much of a fan of. Now, in Halo 4's meta and in Halo 4's just general gunplay, the Storm Rifle works and you can use the gun well. My main gripe is probably something a little petty, but it's the fact that when 343 introduced the Storm Rifle, they removed a gun that had been in every single Halo game prior. And as someone like me, who is this nostalgic, sentimental type of Halo fan, the full-on removal of the plasma rifle to introduce the Storm Rifle was something I was actually disappointed in. And sure, in Halo Reach, Bungie was trying to de-emphasize the plasma rifle, and that's why they put the plasma repeater in the first place. However, they kept the plasma rifle in certain sections of the campaign, and you could get it at least in the sandbox of Halo Reach in Forge and custom games, and occasionally it would pop up in matchmaking. It definitely wasn't in the forefront like in previous games, but it was still in there. It was just more the fact that they just replaced a gun that had been in every Halo game prior. It'd be like a Halo game without the plasma pistol, or at least that's how it felt to someone like me. It probably didn't even faze anyone else, but I just wanted to list my gripe here. And finally, this one's not really even a bad gun per se, or the worst gun, but I just wanted to include it in this video so we can talk about how weird this gun is. But the Halo CE fuel rod gun. Now this gun is, I think, only in the PC version. It was in the campaign, but you couldn't ever pick it up. But yeah, there's a fuel rod cannon in Halo CE, something I just discovered a couple of months ago. Interestingly enough, it has nothing similar about it in appearance to any of the other fuel rod guns or fuel rod cannons in later Halo games, and that's what makes it so weird here. This gun is purple. It has an actual battery instead of a cartridge that you reload like in all the other games. This one has like a recharge cooldown rate similar to the plasma rifle, and you can only use it in certain maps, and you can't even pick it in custom game settings or anything like that. So because of that, I always thought it was just this weird gun, this weird outlier that doesn't really feel like it ever fits, even though when it's played, it can be kind of fun. So not bashing on it too hard, but I did want to give it a mention here. It's kind of my worst favorite gun. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. I think I like it. I don't know how I feel about this gun, to be honest. But that's the main list that we had come up with for the worst guns in Halo. How badly did we trigger you guys on a scale from 1 to 10? Let us know in the comments down below. Actually, I'm terrified to even read the comments. You know what? Yeah, just go ahead. Just let us know why we're wrong or why we're right, and let us know your personal picks for the worst guns in Halo. Maybe we missed something. And again, huge shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Whenever we have brands that support us like this, it gives us the opportunity to make whatever content we want. And honestly, Squarespace really is great because besides the fact that you can actually build a good looking website, they have a ton of different tools that are given access to you that really give you just a ton of options to run and manage your website the way that you want to run your website. There's tools to schedule posts for the future. They have really great analytics tools that give you further insight as to when and who is visiting your website. And they have so many other tools that are just great because when you're first getting started building a website, it's really overwhelming at times. Just with the things that Squarespace offers, it makes you feel like you're already set up to be as successful as anyone else who has some of the most high budget websites out there. They also have a platform that can help you grab a domain name that's the best fit for your website. And just the fact that Squarespace has this platform all together in an all-in-one setting where you can build your website, see everything that's going on, and see who's looking at your website, along with getting everything set up like your posts and domain name all in one place. It's really, really convenient, and it's just a great tool to use. So go ahead and head on over to squarespace.com/rocketsloth, and you can save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain name. But hey, if you liked this video, can you take a quick moment first? Double check you are in fact subscribed down below with notifications on. It helps us out a lot. We get to do more stuff like this, and That's cool. Also, if you want to talk with us on Twitter, you can follow me at Rocket Elijah, and you can also follow Luke at Rocket Sloth Luke. So feel free to follow us on there and communicate with us a bit. We would kind of appreciate it. But otherwise, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.